Oh, hello, hi. I think this is live. Um, let's have a look. Yes, hi everyone. This is Fan from Heavenly Fan, and this is now live from my kitchen. And the reason for this live stream is actually there are a couple of things I've been meaning to share with you for ages, but just didn't get the opportunity to. And tomorrow I'm actually off for a 2 week holiday to Taiwan and Taipei. So I want to make sure that I share this content and also answer question for you before I go. So I'm literally in the middle of packing, and I don't know why I'm whispering. It just seems so quiet in this Monday afternoon in London, and I'll try to talk normally. Yes. And the reason I'm leaning over like this, it might look slightly weird, is because that's how tall my tripod is. So bear with me. And so you probably seen on the title, um, I want to ask a sort of answer question. A couple of questions has been sort of been asked quite a lot in the past year or so, and regarding tofu. And if you haven't seen my how to make tofu video, by all means go watch it. And you can make tofu at home. It's extremely easy. But so since then, I've been asked a lot of questions regarding tofu, like how do you use the pulp that's remained and turn into something useful. So there are a couple of recipes I've shared on my channel as well. So please go watch it. I'll put a link down below as well for your convenience. But today, I want to answer two questions I get asked over and over again. So I thought the quickest way to get to you is to actually go live and you have the answer right there. And if you get to watch live, you're very lucky, you're very special. But but if you don't, that's no problem at all. It will go into archive, you can watch anytime. So the first question I've been asked a lot is, how do you keep tofu fresh? And that is not just applied to homemade tofu, is also any kind of tofu that you buy from the shop or the tofu you make on at home. So I'm gonna show you how to do that, and then after that, I'm gonna answer the question of a really interesting question is, how can you eat tofu raw? So the quick answer is yes, but on top of that, even better, I'm gonna show you how to do that to create a recipe that doesn't require any cooking, but is probably one of the best tofu dish that you can create at home. So first of all, I'm gonna pan the camera around and to show you the different types of tofu. So bear with me. So what you have here is three types of tofu that you probably see most frequently from the shop. And, the way you store them is exactly the same, even if you make tofu at home, it's exactly the same. So the first type is you probably see most often from the sort of health food shops, this kind of really firm block, really solid piece of tofu, and it looks like that when you open the packet. So there isn't a lot of moisture to it, but extremely firm. So this is probably, if you, unless you live in Asia, in the UK, and possibly your Europe and also America as well, this is probably most accessible. And that's quite a lot of people, the first encounter of tofu is this. So that's one type of tofu. And if you have sort of local Asian shop or whatever, you probably see this type of tofu a bit more often. This I actually got from Whole Foods. So you can get this type of tofu, sort of Japanese style tofu from health food shops. You see them more often now. So it's surrounded by a lot more liquid. like this. And the third type you probably come across quite often is actually from, so this type of tofu is silken tofu, and it doesn't require refrigeration. So you often find them on a shelf in the supermarket rather than the fridge area. And when you open it, it's extremely soft and delicate. So when you open the package, it's got a little bit of liquid, but it's really soft. As you can see, it's almost jelly-like. It looks like this. So you can get this type of tofu as well. And the best way you can store them, let me show you. So fundamentally, the best way to do it, and this is how I was taught to do it since I was a kid, is basically recreate something like this. So I'm going to show you right now. So if you use up sort of a half of a tofu, you want to store the remaining half, what you do is actually have a sort of Tupperware type of container. It's probably the best. It's got some height. Preferably you want it to be sort of slightly taller than the tofu you want to store. And what you want to do, let me just quickly just grab some water. Okay, so I've got some filter water here, and I'm going to cut this open. So when you cut this open, let me just try to do it elegantly so the water doesn't spill everywhere. So what you want to do is to discard the water inside. It's slightly yellowy. Let me just throw this water away, bear with me. Okay, here, so the water has been, oops, let me just plug in my microphone again so it sounds a bit better. So so now you've got a block of tofu with the liquid, kind of a drain. So what you want to do, let's say if you use half of it, right? So let me just cut in half. Okay, so we're going to use this to demonstrate the recipe later. So let me just tip it out. Okay, so let's say you use half of it. I'm going to save this half. And then you've got this block you want to keep fresh for the next couple of days, for the next meal. So what you do is take a container, put your tofu whatever which way that fits, and then you just pour in some water to create this kind of water, well, not a bath, it's not hot, but just normal temperature water. And I would recommend that you use sort of filter water. You can use tap water if you must, but if you're really extravagant, you can use bottled water if you want to. And then you just put a lid back on. I can't find the lid right now, but you just put the lid on and then just keep it in the fridge. And you will be fresh probably, I was in principle, if you buy fresh tofu, you want to consume it as soon as you can. But if you can't, it will probably be kept fresh for a good 2-3 days, no problem. But there's a caveat. So what you do is the lid on, keep in the fridge. What you want to do is to replace the water once a day, ideally, because if you don't, after a day or two, you're going to find the water getting slightly yellowy. And that's not a good sign, because that probably means that it's getting less and less fresh. So what you want to do is, it's just like a plant. You just replace the water and then do the same thing, put a lid back on, and you will continue to stay fresh. So, particularly for high water content. And you can do the same thing for any kind of tofu. You can do the same with the silken tofu here. Exactly the same. Just put in the water, pour some water over it. But with this type of tofu, it's really, really solid, right? And it means it doesn't have a lot of water content here. Let me just keep my camera keep my camera still. Hang on a sec. Okay, so with this type of tofu, it's not totally necessary for you to put in the water bath. If you really want, if you can probably get away with just wrap it in a cling film, and then just keep it fresh because it's got very low water content. It's less critical to put it in inside this kind of cold bath. But you see what I mean? This, you know, the higher water content the tofu is, it would do better when you keep in the water like this, and they will stay fresh for a minimum 3 days. Okay, and it's exactly the same if you do it. If you make your own tofu, and you do exactly the same. Okay, so that's the how to store tofu. It's just so easy, and that's, you know, what I've been taught since I was a kid. So I just intuitively do it. I didn't realize people didn't know how to do that. So yeah, let me just flip the camera back. Try not to get too close. Yeah, so that's basically how you store tofu, and it's extremely handy. All you need to do is sort of a container like this handy, and you can store any, you know, type of tofu whenever you want. So the next question, move on to the next question, is how do you can you eat tofu raw? And I was so intrigued about asked that question because I never consider tofu being raw. Because if you know how to make, if you see the process of how to make tofu, if you don't know, again, please refer to my video, how to make tofu video. Then basically you how you make tofu is you cook up. You basically boil soya milk, and then until it's boiling hot, and then you put in what is called nigari. It's a kind of magnesium salt crystal extracted from seawater. It's commonly used in Japan in making tofu for probably hundreds of years. It's not a familiar substance here, but I know people who make tofu using vinegar and vinegar or lemon juice. Basically, the goal is to separate the tofu curd from the water. And when you do that, so that process means that whatever ingredients is in the soya milk is cooked. So it's not raw by default. By default, it's cooked. But the question is, can you eat tofu freshly out of the packet, like this? You know, just take it out and start eating it. So the question is yes and no. So the reason I say no, so it's cooked, but it doesn't mean it's tasty when you do that. So with this type of tofu, it's extremely firm. I wouldn't recommend that you eat it straight out of packet. You can eat it, it's not going to harm you, but it's not going to be very tasty. So the recipe I'm about to show you is not going to apply to this. I wouldn't recommend it, particularly if this is your first encounter for tofu. You know, some people never tried tofu in their lives, and they do this. They're not going to come back. You know, they're going to go, well, it doesn't taste very good, and let me go eat something else. And I wouldn't blame them. So this type of tofu, what you want to do is with this type of, you know, Japanese styles, quite soft. There are different firmness you can get as well. So if you go to like an Asian shop, you probably can get soft, medium, firm, extra firm even. But the recipe I'm about to show you will be perfect for this kind of soft, high water content tofu or silken tofu. So let me flip my camera around and show you how to do that. Okay. By the way, it just warn you, this is so easy. You probably will fall over a chair, but you know, once you learn how to do it, you can do it anytime. So let me just flip this over. Okay, so let me tidy this up. So what you want to do, so earlier on I actually created, let me just take this over. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm going to use this block of Japanese style tofu here. See, well, earlier on I had hot water, fresh hot water here. Let me just go grab it. Okay. So let's say if you take this out, either freshly out of packet, or if you take it out of your fridge, there's something you have stored in the fridge like this. And what you want to do is to transfer that block of tofu into a bowl that's kind of deep enough, tall enough that you can pour in some water and submerge the tofu in it. So what you're trying to do is to kind of warm the tofu up. And as I said, because tofu is cooked by default, so there's no problem of rawness. All you want to do is kind of ease it back to life by pouring some hot water. So I boiled this earlier on. I think it's still hot enough for demonstration purpose. So what you do is really just leave it out here. You can cover it with a plate if you want to. You don't have to. So the goal isn't to cook the tofu or make it boiling hot. It's really just kind of warm it up to life. You can turn it halfway to make sure if the water is not enough to cover it. And once you've done that, you just leave it to warm up. And in the meantime, you need 2 ingredients. Let me just move this out. So it's really up to you. Hopefully I'm gonna continue anyway. So what you do is basically and on top of that, if you're feeling fancy, you can have some grated ginger as well. So I've got something like this. I got in a Japanese shop. Whoops. And you just go like this. Okay, it's extremely easy. And you got the grated bits off here. And that's done. So that's the grated ginger for you. Okay, and so these are the 2 ingredients. You can use either or both. You need some soy sauce. Okay, I hope you can still see me. I'm slightly worried because there's a spinning kind of thing on my screen. That looks very worrying. But yeah, that's some sesame oil. And that's it. So once the tofu is warmed up, I think, normally you'll probably leave it slightly longer, but now we're live, so I'm going to just use it as it is. So I'm going to take a plate. Literally, guys, this is so easy. So you take a plate and then let me just show you. You just fish out this piece of tofu has been in this warm bath. Okay. And then you just put the block of tofu here. At this point, sometimes I like to kind of just cut it kind of into cube shapes like this, because that's how my mom did it. So I'm just doing what I'm told. So kind of just easier, kind of one bite-sized pieces, right? And then what you do is literally you pour in. Sorry for it's looking really messy, but hey, that's live cooking. So you just pour in some soy sauce here, just a drizzle, okay? And then you sprinkle. Let me just grab the spring onion. You grab a pinch of spring onion and then put it on top. So remember, the tofu is warm right now, and it's got hit by this gorgeous soya sauce, and also it's sort of slowly warming up the spring onion as well. And you can put a bit more if you want to. I normally put loads. Okay. Oh, the smell is amazing. It's that tofu being hit by soy sauce is amazing. And then with the ginger, grated ginger, what I normally do is just kind of tidy it up into a little small mountain and then put it on top. And that's it. Oh no, there's one more thing. There you go. That's our sesame oil. That is so important because it tastes so good with this. Let me just pour it over. Oh my God. Yes. You know, I went to a yoga. I woke up around 9 and I went to a yoga class this morning, so I haven't eaten. And this is making me so hungry. And so that's it. I mean, don't underestimate this, you know, just warmed up tofu with a cup of garnishes. This is, I wish you could smell it. This is absolutely amazing. This combination is just gold. And it takes about like 3 minutes to do, seriously. And you can do it with the tofu in your fridge anytime, anytime. I mean, you can, you know, it works with the silken tofu, like the one that doesn't require refrigeration. The only thing you don't want to do is to recreate this dish with the hard tofu, as I said. It's not going to taste great. I mean, this kind of tofu, actually, and my favorite way of doing it is actually either cut them in cubes or slice in thin slices and then pan fry. Just pan fry them until sort of crispy on both sides. And you can put them on salad or make warm salad or just eat them like snack. That's what I do. But look at this. I'm going to try it now. Hang on a sec. Let me just turn the camera over. Oh my, this live cooking thing is just too exciting. And my gimbal, I'm still trying to tame my gimbal. It's crazy. I mean, the technology is sometimes so good, but at the same time, they can betray you in the most important moment. So they just like flip the camera around and do crazy things. So let me grab a pair of scissors? No, chopsticks. Man, so here's my tofu. I'm gonna just take a thumbnail, seriously. This requires like a thumbnail moment, right? Let me just do this. Bear with me. It has to be done. Has to be done. This tofu is too good. Okay. All right, here. All right, back. See, it's not easy. Okay, so tasting time. You know, my screen is still have that thing spinning. I really hope you can still see me. But if not, tough, I'll just have to, you know, come up with something else. Right, so that's my tofu here. And it's warm. I can feel it, even with just a few minutes. There you go. Woo! Okay, let me just tilt it down a little bit. So you can see the coming. I'm gonna just, hang on, let me pick up a piece. So I want a combination of all the ingredients. I want a ginger, I want a spring onion, and I want the soy sauce and everything. Oh, it smells so good. Oh, first bite of food today. Tastes so good. I mean, the tofu could be a little bit warmer because it's still slightly chilled in the middle, but I mean, it tastes really good. Is that combination of ginger and spring onion and everything? It's just so wonderful, and it takes like seconds. Okay, a couple minutes to do. It's totally worth it. So please try it. So if you're able to, I've showed you in the fridge, and then, you know, if you come home, just want a quick snack or something to go with your rice or whatever you're eating, or some salad, you can just create this in no time. So I hope it has been useful, and this is slightly impromptu live stream. And as I said in the beginning of the live stream, I'm gonna get on a plane tomorrow night, and I'm going to Taipei for a few days, and then Tokyo for a few days. And what I'm planning to do, as long as the mobile signal allows, I'm gonna live stream there as much as possible. It's gonna be Chinese New Year in Taiwan, and so I would like to show you some markets in terms of how people prepare to celebrate Chinese New Year, and also street food, etc. So I hope I can make that happen. I hope the signal is fine, and I'm really interested, to see what happens as well, because I haven't spent Chinese New Year in Taiwan for, God knows, probably 5-6 years. I can't remember. So I'm really excited as well. And after that, I'm gonna be heading to Tokyo for a few days. So I'll share with you more food there, I hope. And if you want to catch the live stream there, please make sure you subscribe and press that bell icon. And what it does is that it will make sure that you get a notification as soon as I go live, so you get to catch it. But don't worry if you don't. If you watch replay, then you can watch anytime it goes into the archive. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in a couple of days when I get to Taipei. So have a great day. See you.